Welcome back to DM Prep. My name is Ian and I will be your DM for today. Today we're prepping episode 13 of the Gilded plays Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. So when last we left off, the heroes went to Estoria. They started off in the Mithril Forge, in the Mithril Mines, fought a Cerberus, had quite a fight there. You hit 50,000. That's a lot. We're at 41% for this goal. That's cray-cray. Yeah, it's only going to take us like 5 months to hit that goal. Jordan, you're getting up to the point where you could have I just saw Andy say Ian and I got really confused, and then I saw that there was a Cheerspiration Redemption attached to it. I got really worried. Oh, he's just You're just gonna keep doing it, aren't you? And my Discord is freezing, so I can't. Yeah, he's just gonna keep doing it. Wow, Discord just froze real hard. Wow, Andy is just going in. I'm just gonna hold off on updating it until I get confirmation that he's done. Yeah, so they restarted the Mithril Forge. They invited Vulcan. That's 5 now, Andy. That's a lot. They restarted the Mithril Forge. They got Vulcan and Aesop to go there. Aesop to chronicle the Mithril Mines. Okay, now you're done. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. So let's put them in the Cheerspiration. I have 8 of those now. I got 8 Cheerspirations and 2 nat 20s, so that's neat. And the players don't even know about them. So that's neat. So, the big thing was last time on DM Prep, we prepped all these magical items. So we prepped essentially the Mithril Forge, being able to craft a whole buttload of items, along with secondary ingredients, or primary and secondary ingredients, including a lot of items off of their wish lists. I had a random thought the other day about an additional effect that these motes could have, but then I have since then completely forgotten what they might do. My players have assumed that they're just stat tomes. The Tome of Clear Thought, Manual of Gainful Exercise, Tome of Leadership and Influence, Manual of Quickness of Action, Tome of Understanding. And that's totally reasonable. And in fact, kind of makes sense. But don't know what else they could do. I don't know. But yeah, so they did a bunch of shopping last session, and they picked 3 items that they wanted to have crafted here. So they want Adamantine Half Plate from Adamantine Armor. They used the Adamantine Spear and Short Sword that they found to pay for that. And then they wanted Bracers of Defense, which requires a Mithril Ingot, which they just found on the dude. And then they traveled for 2 days. We now have, in 2 days, they will get the Shield of Vulcan day counter. What'd you miss in Odyssey Prep? Well, we're doing Odyssey Prep right now. We just started, and I basically just reviewed last session of D&D. So if you saw last session of D&D, you didn't miss anything. So basically where we're at is the players have returned to Estoria, and it is the 7th day of Estoria's week-long celebration that Honora was not sacrificed to Sidon. And the players are expecting a massive play in the public amphitheater in their honor that they were semi-responsible for casting. So I have to prep the play in Estoria. That's a cool thing that I get to do. But 2 days from now, they will receive the Shield of Vulcan. 3 days after that, they'll get their Adamantine Half Plate. 5 days after that, they'll get their Bracers of Defense. And they don't have any more items with which to craft magic stuff currently. So that's about all they're doing. So the question is, what in the fuck is this play? So if we look at the King's Daughter, celebrating with the King. The heroes may choose to stay and enjoy the week's celebrations. There will be plays at the public theater that they can participate in, as well as much feasting and drinking. If Kyra is present, she encourages the party to press on with their labors, which she did. She was there. She's like, well, actually, I don't even think she needed to. But they were like, no, like we should probably just let go. But they can participate in the play. All right, so Estorian celebration play. PCs can participate. If they do, the actors they replace. Putting the Odyssey overlay out? Yeah, I can do that. I did intend to do that. And since Odyssey is the first game that we're going to play after this stream, I do like to do that just so I don't have to do that before the session. So yeah, let me swap that real quick. Boop. All right. Should see that show up in a little bit. So the actors they replace will get miffed. Word rep. The actor they replace will be miffed. What kind of benefit can this provide, and at what cost? What cost challenge? So I kind of want, like, if there's no tangible benefit, or if there's no benefit whatsoever to them taking part in the play, then it's just going to be like, well, wait, why the fuck did we, like, that was cute, but like, why did we actually do that? So I want to give them some minor kind of role playing reward for joining in the play, and I have just come up with an idea. Regardless of how many PCs join, they make a... Hey, XCat Darkness is now following. Thanks for the follow, XCat. Hello, how are you? Nice of you to join us. Regardless of how many PCs join, the PCs who take part all make a group intelligence performance check. Is intelligence reasonable for this? Does intelligence make sense? So the thing that I want them to do is I want them to put on a performance. So obviously it's going to be the performance skill, but I also think that it should be a different ability score, because it's not just make a performance, do a thing that you know, because there's a script that they don't know. They don't know the script. They might be vaguely familiar with it, especially since Yasena and Helios decided to be slightly involved in preparation of the play like 6 days ago, but the script has evolved significantly since then. And it's not the same script. So I kind of want it to be like their ability to essentially riff on other people. I think that's actually a wisdom. It's going to be a wisdom performance check. So they have to riff off of the other actors. They have to, essentially like figure out what the script is as they're performing. So it's going to be a group wisdom performance check. Make sure to be at least... So I don't want insight because that's a separate skill. If proficient in insight, advantage on the check. How about that? That could work. Make sure to be at least a little bit tipsy so that you can ad-lib how the play goes a little better. Insight is pretty specific. So the question is, what is the play? Like, what is the play actually about? And to answer that question, I think there's plays in Not the great games. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? These bookmarks are really bad. There is... Hey, RS Logic 42 is now following. Thanks for the follow. There's... Press on by the king. Play some mixing skill sets. Give them choices in which skills to apply. Different risk associated with different approaches. So I do want to keep it very simple. Like I don't want this to be take 2 or so stat modifiers and divide it by that number to get their bonus for it. That's a lot of math. I want to keep this very simple. I want it to be one single check that just everyone has to do, just to keep it very simple. I don't want this taking up a huge amount of time. I want to spend a lot of my time on making this interesting, but I don't want to spend a lot of the players' time playing it. I want it to just be like make a check, let's see how it goes. On a group success, the party gains 1 fame. So I am keeping track of the fame. So I have a spreadsheet of all of the experience that they've been. Okay, let's. God damn it. Okay, yeah, I have been keeping track of all their experience, and they currently have 6 fame. They can earn another fame by doing this, and that'll bump them to 7. And let's take a look at what fame do. So at 6 fame, tales of your great deeds have spread to cities, and your presence draws curious onlookers. You have free food, drink, and lodgings in Estoria Metro. So I kind of already been giving them that for a little while, but you know, might just be a wording thing. Maybe phrase it as make a wisdom or intelligence check for the improv. Add your proficiency bonus if proficient in performance. Yeah, I mean, so a wisdom performance check is a thing that's supported by the rules. I don't know if I want it to be intelligence. Mostly because most of my players suck at intelligence. The only characters that are good at intelligence are Remir, who I kind of want to struggle with this, and then Alaris, who has the headband of intellect, but she's also wisdom based, so she's gonna use wisdom anyway. So I don't think there's really any value in saying int or wisdom. I don't really see Remir getting up on the stage anyway, so I think if anyone, it's gonna be Helios and Scorpius. Jesus, names are hard. But yeah, so if they do get that fame, they can get yeah, on group success DC 20 here. Results DC 20. The party gains 1 fame. DC 15. Here, let's say cumulative. So I'm gonna do this as here's a bunch of stuff you can get. So at DC 20 they gain a fame. Like that's a big deal. Like that's a big deal. So you know, as a group they need to hit DC 20. DC. So what are some minor boons they can get? Yeah. So yeah, swapping abilities it's technically not even swapping abilities. So the rules are written in a way where it's described as swapping abilities, but essentially the way it works here's your D&D lesson for the day. Here's DM prep, DM Ian teaching you DM things. So the way it technically works is that you just tell your players make a ability check. So you specify an ability. So say they're trying to figure out something about an ancient lich's tomb, and you say, okay, make an intelligence check, and you might even prompt them to say make an Arcana check, because like liches are arcane things, blah blah blah. But really, what you're telling them to do is make an intelligence Arcana check. So add your intelligence, and then if you're proficient in Arcana, you can add your proficiency as well. But the game supports the adding of your proficiency in a variety of scenarios. Essentially what a player could do is say, well, I'm proficient in Mason's tools. Can I use that proficiency to try and figure out something about how this place was built? Absolutely. Or I'm proficient in history. Have I ever heard a story about this place? In any of my in any of the annals of history? Sure, make a history check. Make an intelligence history check. Or I'm really strong and I like punching walls. Can I make an intelligence athletics check? No, you can't. But like if the player actually comes up with a reasonable explanation for how they're using a different proficiency, let them. That's awesome. Just Toff is now following. Just Toff. Nobody else is following. It's just Toff. Thanks for the follow. But yeah, so I kind of want some minor benefits for the party gains inspiration. I kind of like that. They gain inspiration. Everybody gains inspiration. DC 15. DC 10 should be something like really meh. Like really, really meh. Like less valuable than everyone gaining inspiration. Is that going to be stackable DM inspiration? No, it's going to be regular DM inspiration. It will not stack. You know what? The party is showered in coins. Yeah. Uh, 2d20 silver and 2d20 coppers. Yeah, sure. How do I feel about religion being an int check and not a whiz check? I think it feels bad as a cleric to be consistently outclassed at religion by a wizard. But it is a book smarts kind of thing. So if you're trying to remember things about a religion that you're not a part of, if you're just trying to remember details, then that's definitely an intelligence religion check. But if you're trying to make some kind of deduction about a religion based on the things that you can see in front of you, that I would say is a wisdom religion check. So making these actually that's not even really true, because deduction is typically handled by the investigation skill. So it's kind of hard. Like you should, if your player if you're wisdom cleric blah blah blah, there's no reason a DM can't call for a wisdom religion check. Exactly. I'm just trying to come up with a really strong scenario for one, but Jeremy Crawford defends int religion. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Jeremy Crawford really likes being wrong. All right, here we go. When you bow for the audience at the end of a play, you're showered with D100 silver coins. If you take the stage and act out the drama yourself, then the audience also showers you with D20 gold coins. I'm just going to use this. Gains 1D100 SP. Showered with coins, doesn't that hurt? I mean, shush. What are we clipping? Dude, don't be clipping me hating on Jeremy Crawford. I'm gonna get banned. I'm gonna get banned from D&D. So there is an event somewhere in this book called like a wine festival. Here we go, the wine festival. Yeah. Event, the wine festival. Whether the festival takes place in the Simple Theater in Estoria or the grander one in Mitros, it is the same event. The festival of 3 plays lasts for a week and is led by blah blah blah. 3 performances over the course of the week. I mean, that's not. This is a different thing. This is a different thing. I'm in support of there being a whiz faith skill, as you could separate the book smarts argument from the clerk. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know if we need another skill. It's totally just reasonable for a DM to call for a wisdom religion check, I think. I think that's fine. So we're gonna take this and we're just gonna so we're going to take out the Plight of Polenia, and then we're going to add essentially a play about the heroes. So PCs can participate in the last play. So 3 plays. The Fall of Estoria. Pythor and the 5 Sisters. And the Chosen Heroes. So which of their great deeds should be immortalized? So we've got a list of their deeds. We're going to zoom in so stream can see it. We got a list of their deeds. So essentially, everything with Fame 1 are like their great deeds thus far. So they killed the Great Boar. They finished their first great labor, and they recovered the Horn of Balmithria. Why is there Fame here? That's weird. I don't know why I put Fame there. Harpies. That's odd. Don't know that that's supposed to be there, but I'm not going to argue with it. I'm sure there was a reason. The Great Labor of recovering the weapons from the tomb. That's not super interesting. Dealing with the storm. I don't know if that makes a good play, because it was mostly just the gods. You know what? The Chosen Heroes. So I don't want to paint the 5 gods in that. Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be fighting the boar. Hunt the Great Boar. The title's a little on the nose. They do a play of the gods. If it goes really, really badly, they have to deal with the wrath of the gods. I mean, one of the gods is literally, like, in their party. Why did you say bull? Yeah. Cause you're mean. Battle of the Boar. No, I like the Chosen Hero slay the Great Boar. Title not final. They had literally like 6 days to get ready, so they have so yeah. This is a module. This is Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, which is a module that came out back in September. If the title page would ever load, came out. It was published by Modifius Entertainment, written by Arcane Worlds, and yeah, it's a level 1 through 20 adventure that features Greek myth, heroes, dragons, gods. It's really cool. So one of the 5 gods is in like she's like an NPC follower, and then one of the player characters is actually the son of one of the gods. In fact, the same god that is king of the city in which this play is taking place. His name is Pythor. Pythor. He's kind of a... I'm playing him as a Robert Baratheon kind of character. Do I use XP or milestones? I use XP. So that spreadsheet that I just had up is keeping track of all the experience that they gain. But I'm aggressively giving out XP for like these role-playing moments and like quest completions. So I'm using that to sort of decide when they level up. But I am I'm kind of using the experience to inform when they should level up, but it is mostly EXP. It'd be funny if they were the child of the god in the party. I mean, that would be kind of cute, but their dad's kind of a fucking drunkard, and he has like 80 children, so he doesn't have time for any one of his kids, even the one who's destined to like win the war. But it is his uncle. Or, sorry, it is his aunt that's in the party, because it is his dad's sister. Because all the gods are related. Anyway, is that god child a sorcerer? He is not. He is, in fact, an artificer. And he gets it from his granddad, his godly father's father, who is the god of artifice. So he's an artificer. We do actually have a sorcerer in our party whose subclass is demi-god, and yeah, they're demi-god sorcerer, which is a subclass in this book, and their godly parent is actually the big bad evil guy. So that's fun. But anyway, so we've got these 3 plays. The Fall of Estoria, Pythor and the Five Sisters. We're going to put our page number on here just so I can reference it. These are on page 43. Just so I don't have to go looking for it. And the PCs can participate in the last play, since, it's their own exploits, so they should know them, except that they're going way off script. Massive, overblown, caricaturized characters. Massively overwrought story. Love triangles, massively implied. Heavily implied. Let's see, who's the love triangles? Obviously we need 2 love triangles, and we have 2 female characters, right? So it's going to be Helios, Yasena, Scorpius, and Remir, Alaris, Orsino. Also, I want to point out that Scorpius is the only character whose name is not 6 letters, and it's really annoying. Did I give the players plenty of downtime between campaigns so they can do stuff like build a stronghold, learn new languages, get some armor created for themselves, or is that implied? So I tried really hard to get my players to agree to using gritty realism rules because I thought that would give me a lot of room for downtime. But one of the problems with this campaign is that there's literally a ticking clock, but they don't even know how long is on that clock. So at some point in the nearish future, I need to figure out how long that clock is ticking. And essentially what it is there's the Oath of Peace, which is a 500-year armistice between the gods and the Titans. And at the end of that armistice, it is heavily implied that the Titans are just going to lay waste to everything, as they were doing prior to the armistice. And everyone knows it's a 500-year armistice, and it was signed about 500 years ago. No one really knows except Mitros, the only god who does not walk the earth. I have been able to avoid answering the question of how long they have, but at some point in like 2 or 3 sessions from now, I'm going to have to tell them how much time they have, but I need to figure out exactly like what like how much time I want to give them, how much time I want them to be able to build strongholds and all that stuff. But then after, so this book is split into essentially 3 campaigns. Fun idea, the timer already ran out and it's just pending doom. When the timer runs out, very, very, very big and impossible to miss things are going to happen. So that is a cute idea. That is a fun idea, but it doesn't work, unfortunately. But I am going to figure out how long they do have. Once the timer runs out, so massive spoilers for anyone who thinks they might ever play in this game. Just massive spoilers. I'm just going to warn everyone right now because this is a really big spoiler. When the Oath of Peace runs out, the 5 gods, the aforementioned NPC follower, the Robert Baratheon character, the Artificer Grand God, they all turn back into dragons because that's their actual form. They stole divinity from the Titans by tricking them and then forced them to sign the Oath of Peace. And the Oath of Peace was essentially just stop fighting us for 500 years, and then if you do that, when it's over, we'll give you your divinity back. So they're going to lose their divinity and turn back into dragons. And that's pretty hard to miss. It's pretty hard to miss your 5'6" bard god following you around, suddenly turning into a 30-foot-long dragon. But yeah, later in the campaign, they get a boat, and then there's a whole bunch of islands they need to go to. And I want to give them the opportunity to explore as much as they want without them feeling rushed, but also without them feeling like they have all the time in the world. So I have to find a balance there, and I'll probably have to do a bunch of math, unfortunately. Andy, you can help me with that, right? I'm kidding. That's gonna be really easy. So massively overwrought story, full of cliches. Love triangles within the party heavily implied. Party of Dragons stealing divinity from Titan sounds like a fun campaign in and of itself. That would be really cool. But yeah, so this book is essentially split into 3 different campaigns, 3 or 4 actually. Is it 3 or 4 campaigns? It is actually 4 campaigns. This book is split into 4 campaigns, and there is assumed to be pretty significant gaps in between the 4 campaigns, and then the last campaign takes them up to level 20. So there will be significant downtime. I was saying I'm gonna need to do a bunch of math to figure out the best ticking clock for them, so that they're rushed but not so rushed that they miss a lot of stuff that they want to see. But I'll figure it out. So I kind of like this. I like the ridiculous inclusion of love triangles, the cliched story, and the caricaturized characters, and then the players get to have to figure shit out. Give them the red herring timer, like one that's kind of right but not perfect. Could do that. I think it kind of is anyway, because it's essentially supposed to be like the doomsday clock. Like as soon as this timer runs out, like everything goes to shit. But they do have a little bit of time after that. Like as soon as that clock runs out, the gods turn back into dragons and they stop being gods. But the Titans aren't just going to instantly win the war at that point if they're not ready. The Titans then get to launch their war. So then the players have like a little bit of time to react to, oh shit, war is starting, let's go deal with that. So I would say it's sort of like a squishy timer. It's not. I wouldn't say it's soft. It's a firm. Let's call it a firm timer. It's not a soft limit. It's not a hard limit. It's a firm limit. So that's the play. That's the whole play. We spent half an hour, 40 minutes on the play. Titan's Open Task Manager hit end task on Thylia. Yeah, I mean, Yikes. Okay, so we need to prep the Ghost Ship Ultros. So I did read this off stream at one point. I do like to read. Stuff before I prep it on stream because I don't like sitting here and like reading, like just read. But it's fine. So the time has come to complete the next of your great labors. King Acasus gave you a map to the last known whereabouts, the legendary Ultros, but its location seems ominous. The ship was last seen near the Deadfalls in the rocky wastelands of the eastern Heartlands. You've heard stories of the Ultros. It was captained by Esther Archelander, the Dragon Lord, leader of a savage and bloodthirsty crew. He savaged the islands of Thylia, leaving slaughter in his wake. Sidon unleashed his full fury against the vessel, attempting to smash it with 100-foot waves and drag it down to the bottom of the sea with terrifying whirlpools. But the magic of the Ultros was so powerful that even the Lord of Storms could not sink it. The ship and its crew went missing several years after the end of the First War. You must find it and take command of it, for you cannot brave the waters of the Forgotten Sea without it. So that entire read-aloud text is basically like, here, have a recap of the reason that you want the Ultros. So that's cute. But it is a ghost ship. It's got 70 ghosts and a bunch of specters. Specters are crewmen who've lost their sanity and been reduced to soulless undead shades with no personality or drive. Cool. Estor has been waiting for a band of warriors to board his ship. He wants a new body and he wants to possess a hero. See Ghost of Saltmarsh for ghost ship. Yeah, Ghost of Saltmarsh has a lot of ghost ships. But he wants to literally possess a new body. So he's been trying to lure King Acasus to his ship. But King Acasus essentially wants the players to go try and find the Ultros in the hopes that Estor will kill them, because he knows that they're trying to become Dragon Lords, and Estor wants to, or Acasus wants to be the Dragon Lord. Pristine vessel, because the ghostly crew keeps it in tip-top shape. So traveling to the Deadfalls from Mitros or Estoria takes about 2 days. Where is I want World Thylia? So I do not currently have a "you are here" marker. So let's drop a "you are here" marker. They are in Estoria. That guy is way too big. Alright. So they're in Estoria, and they need to go to here, which is where the Deadfalls are. So their plan is to take the river down essentially to here and then walk across the old woods. It would make sense for them to stop at the Sour Vintage because they can't do all that in one day. So it's 34 miles to the Sour Vintage and then another 22 miles to the Ultros. So it is going to be 2 days of travel from Estoria, but they're going to spend an entire day in Estoria on these 3 plays, because each play is like 2.5 hours. There's like 6 fucking intermissions. 'Cause they got all these costumes and they can't switch really quick. So before they even get to the Ultros, 4 days are going to have passed, because it's already been 2 days to get back to Estoria. So while they're at the Sour Vintage, essentially, they'll get the Shield of Vulcan. Travel to... So PCs spend a day in Estoria. By the time the plays are over, it's really too late to start marching. The next day sees them taking the River Archelon down, then disembarking to trek to the Sour Vintage. The third, the morning of the third day, a Caledon delivers the Golden Shield of Vulcan. The finale of the Salvage Operation chapter has been a few groups' campaign highlight. Oh, that's good to know. I'll have to look at that. I really like being involved in D&D communities, because a lot of people can share notes about how things went with their groups, and then you essentially find out, like, wow, this was really well written, and this is very easy to run, and this is really fun. So this is really that's really cool. Like I like hearing about stuff that a lot of people run and have fun with, like the finale of the salvage operation chapter, or the Soul Train heist in Descent into Avernus. If you wanna check out our Soul Train heist, you can look at the thingy up above. I'm gonna have to. I just removed the. If you're watching this on YouTube, just click the button that's up here, and that'll take you to the Soul Train heist. Yeah, Soul Train heist is awesome. Shadows actually helped me write it, as well as a number of other people. Tim is not allowed to be in the stream because he's in Odyssey, but he helped me write it, and a whole bunch of other people in the Avernus Discord. Yeah, PCs wanted a sequel. So the morning of the third day, a Caledon delivers the golden shield to Vulcan. Saravanian just makes a convenient place to stop for the rest. Atala now advertises the tavern as a place where the heroes of prophecy gathered before slaying the great boar. She offers them free accommodations, and her patrons ensure that the heroes drink for free. Everyone knows the Ultros. It's Esther Arcalander's ship from the legendary Adventures of the Dragonlord. Several fishermen claim to have seen the ship sailing down the river Lethe. So I'm playing Hades, the new game by Supergiant Games, and there's a lot of names that are in Odyssey of the Dragonlords that are just straight out of Greek myth, and apparently the river Lethe is a thing. It's a thing I didn't know. River Lethe. The Lethe flowed around the cave of Hypnos and through the underworld. But yeah, so it is Lethe, and not Leth. It's Lethe. Midnight, no one believes him. Why would a ghost ship be sailing on a landlocked river? It is a landlocked river. They rip Grecian, Roman names. Have I been playing and not streaming? I have been playing and not streaming because I'd like to play when I'm not able to stream, which is a lot of the time. So yeah, I also don't always want to play 2 hours at a time. Sometimes I want to just pick it up, do a single run for half an hour, and then put it down. And that doesn't work good for streaming. So I had this problem when I played Breath of the Wild. Was I streamed for like 2-3 hours at a time, and then like the next day I'd be like, I want to play Breath of the Wild, but I don't feel like streaming it, so I'm just not gonna play. And then after a while, I just like. I played like 30 hours between streams because I just kept wanting to play and I didn't want to stream it. Patrons of the Shower of Vintage know a few tales of Deadfalls. They say it's one of the pathways to the underworld, the domain of Lutheria, Lady of Dreams. The rocks scream like harpies, and those who venture to the river's end never return. There is an oft-repeated mantra that the patrons use to reassure the party, heroes have no fear of the dead. It's cool. It's cool. So when I read this chapter for the first time, I did not understand this, even remotely. But I think I understand what it is. So the river Lethe descends further and faster and breaks into frothing rapids. The water flows and gurgles at a treacherous speed. Large, sharp rocks jut from the water, making the river even more perilous. The rapids are too dangerous to travel by boat or to swim. Someone tries to swim across and make an athletics check every round, or swept away and over the falls. A path leads along the edge of the rapids. It's soaking wet, but otherwise safe to travel. You imagine the automatons, like moths trying to get in, knocking against the window. They're not dumb. Like, they're not that dumb. They're also, like, human-sized. So that would be a little weird. But Shadows is referring to the Caledones, which are a type of automaton created by Vulcan, the god of artifice. So they're these there's these butterfly robot people. I believe they have 10 int. They have 11 in fact. So they're smarter than half the party. So, the path along the rapids twists and turns, and the sides of the canyon seem to be closing in around you. The walls are adorned with horrific carvings of what seem to be faces, both human and unhuman. The path leads to a section of the rapids at the canyon's narrowest point, with only 20 feet between the cliff faces. So, the water essentially gets narrower and deeper, so that the river, like, the cliff tightens, but then, so usually the river is shaped like this, but then at this really tight spot, the river underwater like bulges out underneath the cliff. But then there's a walkway that gets really tight there as well. Only 20 feet between the cliff faces. Each wall at first appears to be carved with horrifying faces, but upon closer examination, it seems they might actually be mundane rock formations. As you make your way further down the path, the canyon continues to grow narrower. But I thought you said it was the narrowest point. Oh, okay. It leads to the narrowest point. Cold winds assail you, howling through the canyon with a blood-curdling sound like an inhuman scream. Cliffs are moving together, and the wailing seems to be coming from the mouths of the faces. Heroes who notice this have 1 round to react. So essentially what I should do is when they notice that, everyone roll initiative. And then if your passive perception is lower than 12, you're surprised. On the next round, it becomes obvious that the cliffs are moving. The cliff path pushes up against the other side of the canyon, and the water beneath vanishes under the rocks. Anyone still on the path at this time must move 80 feet to get to safety. Failure to escape means they will be stuck between the rocks. Athletics check allows them to squeeze through to safety. Failure means they take bludgeoning damage. Every round after that, they can make another check to escape. Damage increases by 66 on each subsequent round. Anyone reduced to 0 hit points is instantly killed and reduced to a meaty paste. After 5 rounds, the cliffs return to their original position with the gore of any unfortunate victims plastered against the cliff walls. So, let's see who has a passive perception of 12 or higher. So I need to go to, let's pull this out, make it bigger. So dash. Well, it's 80 feet, so if you only have 30 feet of movement, dash isn't going to be enough. So Alaris and Helios are wisdom-based, so I know they have enough passive perception. It's everyone else I'm worried about. Meaty paste, yeah. Passive perception 12 for Ysenna. Scorpius probably makes it. They have a lot of wisdom in this party. 13 for Scorpius. 9 for Remir, but he has a buttload of speed. And wow, Remir is the only one whose passive perception is lower than 12. I'm just gonna double check. Helios and Alaris. Like, I know they're both wisdom based. They're druid and cleric, so there's no reason they wouldn't be. But I'm gonna look it up anyway. 17 and 14. Yeah, they're good. So everyone. So on the next round, anyone on the path at what time? Failure to escape. Okay. So essentially, so when they notice the cliffs start moving together, we roll initiative. Characters with a passive perception of 11 or lower are surprised. Remember, you're smart, but not smart, right? And then at initiative count 0, the walls move together significantly. And then the second round, they then have, like, they have to move 80 feet to get to safety. And then at the end of the second round, I like the idea that it does damage on its turn rather than like when they fail the athletics check. The athletics check would essentially just be like your ability to squeeze through. Like, you're not gonna take damage on a failure. You're just not gonna be able to move. Yeah, so that's how I'm gonna run that. And then, even if someone dies, it's not the end of the world because every one of them essentially gets one get out of death free card. And except for the doomed one, they get 2. This can happen twice. Everyone else gets 1. Our doomed one has already used 1, so they only have 1 left. And then our Dragon Slayer has already used 1, so she has none left. So if anyone but Alaris dies, they can just come back on their own. So if Remir dies, Pythor will surrender his Divine Spark. If Orsino dies, Versi will appear. If Yasena dies, they will disintegrate and then be true rezzed and then teleported back in. That's going to take an hour. We don't have a lost one. And the Dragon Slayer is dead. And then if Scorpius dies, then Damon will teleport in and then hand a raised dead scroll. Raised dead's not going to help. So I this is a raised dead scroll. But if Scorpius were to die in a way that leaves him paced, then obviously I would give him a resurrection scroll instead. I think resurrection. Closes all mortal wounds and restores any missing body parts. So you need some part of it. You need some part of the body. But I would argue that meaty paste qualifies. It'd be really funny if Scorpius turned into like a gibbering mouther because he just got that put back together wrong. New race, you think? No, you're thinking reincarnation. Get out of here, Bayless. Oh wait, no, Bayless is allowed to be in here. Hi, Bayless. Yeah, reincarnate gives you a new race. Resurrection is more roughly as powerful as reincarnate, but doesn't change your fucking race. So then we have the Deadfalls. So this is the part where I got confused. The river Lethe pours into a chasm, creating a waterfall that plunges for more than a vertical mile, blah, blah, blah. So that the secret inlet is shown on the king's map, but its location is not obvious at first glance. With some trivial investigation, the heroes will discover a switchback rocky passage that leads to the inlet. So I don't have a good mental image of this. So my players are going to ask a question about it, and I just don't know how to answer it because you approach what appears to be a massive waterfall. Water of the river pours into a vast shadowy chasm and vanishes. You discover an inlet near the chasm where the river's waters are eerily still. An inlet near the chasm. What is an inlet? Like, geographically, what is an inlet? Okay. Like, it just... Okay, that's what I thought it was. You seem to find it disconcerting. Yeah. You find it disconcerting. Fuck off. Yeah, the flavor text here sucks. So they're essentially walking along a path that is on the cliff face, and then they get to the end of the path. Like at the very end of that path is a waterfall, but then there's no like roaring because the waterfall is just hitting nothing. But then where would the inlet be? I don't think. Thanks, Steph. So I think instead of like, ooh, secret inlet, it should be like it's not really an inlet. The inlet is feeding the water. No, the river is feeding the waterfall. So I'm imagining essentially like they walk along this walkway in the cliff face, and they see the waterfall. But then 30 or 40 feet back, before they even get to the waterfall, there's just this like there's just this hole in the cliff face, and then they walk through essentially a tunnel, and it opens to the sky after a little bit, and then it opens into just this lake inside of the cliff. And it's like, how the fuck? And then the Ultros is anchored in this lake, but it's impossible to see how it got here. It's impossible for it to fit through the passage the party used. The heroes may freely walk along the rocky shore to the ship and board it. Nothing stands in their way. I like that a lot better than a switchback rocky path. I don't... What? Passage is flooded by water 5 feet deep, which the heroes must wade or swim through. I'm not understanding the geography here. Like, is it assuming they're on top of the cliff? Or are they still on a walkway along the cliff? Really confusing. I'm just going to say that there is a flooded passage. Actually, okay. Got it. Okay, okay, so there is a switchback walkway down to the river. And then on that walkway is a flooded tunnel. And because of the geography, they're in an eddy, so they're not going to get pulled away by the river. So they can just walk up that passage. And it's a fairly wide passage. It's fine. But, like, they take a switchback essentially down the side, like, down closer to the river that they've been walking on a cliff above. That probably makes most sense. Hey, Lake and Dragon, how's it going? Your username has inspired me. Where Dragon? On the top deck of the ship, you feel it chilling. Okay, so the Ultros is really weird. It's really weirdly written. Hey, thanks for following, Like and Dragon. You working on an Odyssey campaign or something else? So the Ultros is written really weird. So, like, there's descriptions of, like, the ship itself, but then there's descriptions of a dream that happens. You're gonna sneak away. Thanks for being here. Glad to have you. 5e homebrew. I haven't run homebrew in so long, and it's very fun, but it's a lot of work. So yeah, the Ultros, essentially, there's a dream that gets triggered. Once the speakers have spoken to the Undead Drummer on the ore deck, they begin their journey across the Cerulean Gulf towards Mitros. So the ore deck... There you go, Undead Drummer. The rear of the ore deck is an undead woman sitting by a drummer. Skin is white as bone, her eyes are missing. She has the statistics of a revenant, but she does not have a focus for vengeance. She is not hostile, but she will defend herself if attacked or destroyed. She'll return within 24 hours, rising out of the river or the ocean, and resume her place. She'll ask one simple question in a whispering voice. Are you ready to travel to Mitros? If they say yes, she'll begin to beat her drum. And then the Ultros raises anchor and smoothly sets sail toward the canyon wall. The cliff looms closer and closer as the ship picks up speed, as if preparing to smash through the rocks. Just when it seems like the ship must collide with the wall, it suddenly dives underwater. The decks of the Ultros flood with water as it submerges, and you are forced to hold your breath. The ship travels at a terrific speed, rushing past large aquatic creatures and shadowy rock formations. Your lungs ache with the effort of holding your breath, but finally the ship surfaces. You find yourself surrounded on all sides by the gentle waters of the Cerulean Gulf. And then it begins its journey to Mitros, but something strange is afoot. Fall asleep to the gentle rocking of the ship and the sound of waves lapping against the hull. Your sleep takes you on a journey to a distant time, sailing on a distant sea. The sky above is strange and otherworldly. You stand on the deck of the Ultros, surrounded by dozens of men and women with grim faces and ancient weapons. You are part of the ship's crew, and you know that you have served the captain in countless battles. Standing at the prow of the ship is a tall man with long, gray dreadlocks. His engraved bronze pauldrons mark him as one of the legendary dragon lords. This is Estor Archelander. He calls his entire crew to the deck. They're sailing on a strange expanse of foggy gray ocean. Doors are unlocked. Rooms can be searched. He stands near the ship's mast, gazing out into the void. Okay. I've summoned you here for a grave purpose. Tomorrow I walk into the fires of Typhon and become like a god. Thenceforth I shall be immortal, perhaps even as powerful as Kentamane the Hundred-Handed. But I shall no longer call myself captain of this ship. It has been a great honor to fight alongside you in the war against the Gigans. We've toppled their wretched cities and flooded the oceans with their blood. But now it is time for me to choose a worthy successor, a new captain for the Ultros. I will choose the new captain from among my loyal thanes. Each of you swore a blood oath to serve me. I call upon you to swear that same oath upon the Ultros. Only then will she follow your commands, as she has done mine. So he identifies them as his new thanes, and he asks them to swear the following oath. Yep. He excuses himself from consideration to be captain if they want to avoid swearing the oath, but will only heed the commands of heroes who have sworn it. So after the oaths are sworn, he announces that there are 3 traitors among his crew. He tests the heroes, finding the traitorous ghosts and destroying them. He refuses to release the heroes until this has been accomplished. He explains that whoever performs most admirably will take his place as the new captain of the ship. Estoria does not plan to relinquish control. Instead, he's hoping to possess the body of the hero who proves to be the strongest during the following trial. He was originally served by 3 traitorous Thanes, Davos, Metron, and Scathon, and they now haunt the Ultros as ghosts. They'll appear in different sections of the Ultros. Dwarven ghosts can be found on the top deck, lazy ghosts can be found in the Thane's quarters, and powerful warrior can be found in the captain's cabin. And the last of the traitorous Thane, when the ghost of the last traitorous Thane has been destroyed, the fog surrounding the Ultros lifts, and the heroes awaken from the dream. Any heroes who were killed during the dream wake with 2 levels of exhaustion, but they are otherwise fine. The ghost of Estoria awaits the heroes in the captain's quarters. He's now satisfied that the heroes are stronger than his previous Thanes. He chooses the hero who performed most admirably during the trial and appoints them captain. If they refuse the bargain, he grumpily offers it to someone else. Okay. I offer you the honor of being my successor. You will know power beyond anything you could possibly imagine. Do you accept? Bargain is a trap, and if anyone accepts his offer, he immediately takes possession of that hero for the next hour. Cool. Cool. Speak constantly in their mind, always encouraging the pursuit of power at any cost. His goal is to wear down the hero's willpower so that he can eventually take permanent control. Once per day, he can take control of the hero for 1 round without a chance to save. Wow. Eventually, his control may become permanent, but this should only happen if the player's behaviors become too disruptive to the rest of the party. Okay. That's neat. And then, other than the weird questy kind of thing, it's kind of a standard dungeon crawl. It's got some areas. Some stuff. Top deck. So there's before the dream, and then there's during the dream for each location. But then during the dream, anything they do counts for like real life. Like if they go in this chest, they can get the Burnished Dragonlord coins. Okay. Journal gives a detailed account of Estoria Arcliner's role in starting the first war 500 years ago. Neat. So yeah, there's before the dream, and then there's during the dream events, or like descriptions for each area. So that's pretty easy to run. It's not like these guys are just ghosts. Got much prep left to do? No, I'm kind of approaching the end of prep. I think the last thing I want to do is just kind of balance. Oh my god, there's upper and lower deck. Of course there is. I think the last thing I'm gonna want to do is just balance the encounters, because like my players are level 6 now, and a ghost, an animated sword, and an animated armor is not a challenge. It just ain't. Like, it ain't a challenge. So let's look up the ghost. Well, I'm already here. So I want to know the name of the trait, incorporeal. So I'm going to search D&D Beyond for incorporeal creatures. So let's go monsters. Wraith, Avatar Death, Spectre, Phantom Warrior, Indentured Spirit, probably not a big deal. Snow Maiden, probably not. Ghostblade Eidolon, maybe. Lonelywood Banshee. Who the hell's Bulbara? Obsidian Ghost, that could work. Spirit Troll. Igeron Spirit, I don't know. So I'm essentially just searching D&D Beyond for Talarak Quarry. Whoa. Searching D&D Beyond for other incorporeal creatures to see if there's anything I can just like swap out. All right, this is CR1. Ghostblade Eidolon is... It's the same CR, but it is a little bit more martial focused. Because like, here, let's look at the ghost. Ghost is Ghost is actually CR4. But they only have 1 attack. Then they have like Horrifying Visage and Possession. The thing is, if it fails its possession check, it's gonna die before it gets to use Horrifying Visage. So, but then Horrifying Visage is really lame because it's just frightened, and then the potential to just age the shit out of you, and that seems dumb. So ghosts on the Ultros are instead Ghostblade Eidolons. got a minute? Would you mind doing your favor? What's up? Lonelywood Banshee. This looks like just a regular Banshee. Wait, that's just a... Okay. Bulbara. No. Obsidian Ghost. 5 Obsidian Ghosts. Oh my god. They each have a different... Oh my god, that's crazy. This could be neat if I do... Like, if I pick 3 of them. But I don't think I wanna. He regains hit points. How do they regain hit points? Life Drain. Got it. They also have Spirit Guardians once a day. I mean... At Will Misty Step. That's cool. Undead Fortitude's pretty lame. Raven Feeblement at Will. Burst Necrotic Energy. I actually think I want to do this. Strange feelings of anger and guilt. Trying to write stuff for your setting. You're working on rewriting the original classes flavor-wise to make them fit into the universe. There are a few things you can't represent with the original classes. You're giving a go at making a handful of custom classes to represent that. That's an undertaking. I've actually tried to do that, and I never got really anywhere. I've made a homebrew setting. I actually have 2 different homebrew settings that are basically the same setting. Or they're technically the same setting, but they're 10,500 years apart. But yeah, if you Andy just dropped a Discord link. If you join our Discord, you can post in the DM hotline channel. We have a lot of DMs in our Discord, and I'm sure a bunch of people will be happy to help out, including myself. But I don't want to take up a whole lot of stream time trying to do some classes and whatnot. Davos. So he's got a bunch of like people help him. Davos is Karlov. And then who's the third one? Who's the third thing? Metron is Vuliev. So yeah, we're gonna do Obsidian Ghosts, which makes them legendary creatures. Target all of if they're all within 30 feet of each other, they get legendary actions. Okay. They have legendary actions even alone. I'm gonna do Indentured Spirits because I think that's really cool. Yeah. We're not gonna do Forced Obedience. That one's weird. It's a boat. What's a boat? I think that's gonna small spaces. Yeah. I'm not following. But yeah, so I think we've basically not run on a Cal Quarries CR19, Dybbuk CR4. Yeah, these areas are very tight. You know, the entire ship is only 10 squares wide, 9.5-ish. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed DM Prep, hopefully you'll enjoy the session that comes of it. If you're watching this on Twitch, come back here, follow us to get notified when we're live, but come back here, twitch.tv/thegildedtroll at 4 p.m. EST when we play Odyssey the Dragon Lords. And then we also have Curse of Strahd on Sundays at 1 p.m. EST and Rime of the Frost Maiden Mondays at 6 p.m. EST. If you're checking this out on YouTube, I'm going to put a link right up above to the session that I just prepped. So we're going to play today, Saturday, or prepping today. Saturday we're going to play, and then once they're both on YouTube, put a link up above. And if you're on YouTube, please check out our Twitch channel. You can catch us live at the aforementioned times. And then regardless of where you're at, check out our Discord. check out our Instagram, check out our Twitter, and thank you everyone for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Before I say bye, we're actually gonna go do a raid. We're gonna raid Mr. Bayless. So Mr. Bayless is the artist for all of the art on all of our stuff. He does all of our art. Today he's doing a writing stream. He's not actually doing some draws, but you can check out his VODs. Yesterday he was drawing our new characters for Ram the Frost Maiden. But we're gonna start raiding. And thanks everyone for being here. So I'm just gonna wait for that raid countdown to finish, and then we'll end the stream. So thanks, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.